You know, I've been in the healthcare profession for many years. I was a practicing dentist till I got here in Congress. By the way, dentistry made a lot more sense than Congress does sometimes. And as somebody who cared, I care about this issue a lot. So I thank you for bringing that up. I wanted to touch down on the ongoing impact that persistent shutdowns and forced vaccinations have had on our two most important populations, active duty military and particularly our children under 5 years old. Shutdowns forcing students not to be in school has had a disastrous impact. The studies show it on their educational levels. Some studies show that American children are as much as a year and a half behind on topics such as math and reading. Our Americans have to compete with the world, a year and a half behind. Test scores in the areas are significantly lower, with other studies showing average scores as much as 20% lower in grades 3 through 8. Going even younger, social isolation and lack of typical early childhood interactions due to pandemic shutdowns have led to developmental delays. And you know it, you hear about it if you get out there and talk to the professionals. Children born during the pandemic, when compared to those scientifically that were born before the pandemic, have been found to have noticeably lower scores in language, motor skills, and cognitive abilities because of what government did to them. The long-term effects to get these children back on track are going to require a comprehensive and all-out effort from our government for years to come. God help us. I hope we do it. I hope we do it better and have a better track record than we've had sometimes in the past. And you know what frustrates me the most about this? We knew that children had a strong immune response, young children, to COVID-19. We knew that children were not dying from COVID-19. We knew they had a lower risk profile. We knew that, and we locked them away from school and their friends anyway. They will have a much more detrimental impact on these kids than anything COVID could have ever done to them. And there is no greater responsibility for a society. There is no greater American responsibility than to take care of our children, our young people. It was an absolute failure in the way we treated them, and it was an absolute failure in the way we treated our young children and our sacred responsibility. We knew the FDA and the CDC were aware of the vaccine side effects of myocarditis and pericarditis in pediatric and younger adults that needed a more fulsome evaluation. We knew that for young people, the risk of taking the vaccine outweighed any potential benefits a booster ever could have had. And we forced it on them anyway. I'd like somebody to explain to me why we did that. For our government to know this, to be told about it by their own experts, and to still push the release and mandate their use. And that's the difference. Mandate, force it. It had to happen. It's egregious, and it's an act this government has committed that is worthy of, it's a despicable act. It's a despicable act. So, I'm going to ask you quickly, Mr. Siri, please, I usually ask specific questions. Just comment on all that for me.
When you look at the long arc of history, what has wrought more harm and destruction to humanity more than anything was a government, a central authority, a dictator thinking they know better than you and are going to tell you how to live your life. And here we see that in action too. When do you need mandates? When you can't persuade on the merits. When a government can't persuade you on the merits, that's when they have to resort to force, to bullying, to thuggery. And that's what mandates really constitute. If vaccines were safe and effective, you wouldn't need a mandate. Because there are questions about their safety and efficacy, because there are concerns, that's when the government engages in force. It should never do that. There is a time when we're going to want to, CDC will want to have the authority to be able to tell the public, listen to us, trust us. And they're destroying it by constantly pushing out mandates. Persuade on the merits. That's what informed consent is. You inform me, I know the risks and benefit, and I choose whether to consent. And when I say no, if you mandate over that,
Mr. Siri, the first thing we learned in medical school and dental school when I went there was benefit versus risk, and then make a decision. All medications, yeah, they were right over there. They have a risk, But you have to hope that the benefit, not hope, you have to be sure that the benefit is greater than the risk. We didn't know that with these children. In fact, the risk was greater than the benefit. It was the wrong thing to do. And I know I don't have much time left, but what we did to our military was wrong. You know that 8,000 soldiers were discharged from the military due to their fact that they didn't take the vaccine. Only 50 of them have been reinstated. It was their right to refuse to take the vaccine. It was wrong to do that. It has harmed the military. It's harmed the morale. Quick comment, Mr. Siri.
One of the greatest honors of my life was to bring a class action lawsuit against the Air Force on behalf of over 10,000 airplanes and get an injunction preventing their discharge from the military, as well as a case we did against the Army. Our military brass, unfortunately, forgot what it is those who serve, what they swear to defend the Constitution. And the first right under the First Amendment is the freedom of religion. And those that had sincerely had beliefs contrary to taking those products, the military was willing to just run right over them. And so we were heartened when a judge ordered that injunction.
For political purity, we hurt people, we killed people, and children as well. And that's why this hearing is worthy. Thank you, Chairman. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman.